The concept of rest, just like the concept of work in the New Age, is about doing. You take some rest after a stressful day at work, you enjoy your weekend after a crazy work week, and what do you do when you rest? You watch some fun content, or you play video games, or travel, or sleep. Apart from that last one, sleep, I would argue that the rest are all forms of doing something. They take your mind away from the everyday rigmarole of daily existence, the small little stresses of life, and offer it an escape. Of course, you do feel refreshed, energized, happy when you're doing those activities and even after doing them, but when the time comes to return to the grind, you are hit with a wall of foreboding. Fear of what sits in your inbox on Monday morning, loathing for hour-long team meetings, or anxiety over that client deadline. For all practical purposes, entertainment-based rest helps you somehow get through the week until the next week rolls in. What this video is about is a kind of rest that goes beyond the mind. The kind of rest that does not distract you but dissolves you. If entertainment helps you forget your current circumstance, this rest makes you forget yourself. True rest, as I've come to recognize, lies beyond perception itself. It comes as a consequence of realizing that you don't really exist. I know this can sound a bit spaced out and abstract, but indulge here for just a little while. I want to start with the concept of work. Any well-meaning definition of work means activity, which emphasizes movement, either physical or mental movement of concepts, ideas, and structures. In any given work, there is an inherent property of leaving someplace and arriving at someplace else. You did great work if you left place A, either physically or mentally, and arrived at place B, which most often is perceived to be a better place than A. Work requires energy, because movement requires energy. Movement from New York to Mumbai requires jet fuel energy, and creating a $500 million startup requires intellectual energy, which results in a transformation. As this energy is spent, the body and mind need to replenish it and continue the cycle endlessly. What creates the concept of movement, one might ask? At the most basic level, the perception of separation is what makes movement possible. If New York was not separate from Mumbai, how could you travel between the two? A separation is the first occurrence that makes movement, work, effort even possible. Now logically, if movement spends energy, it is obvious that stillness replenishes it. And if movement sprouts from separation, what would stillness represent? A disappearance of separation. Stillness, quite simply, is dissolving into something. Sleep is the best stillness we know as organisms. When we are asleep, we disappear. Sure, we can see others sleep, but that's because we're awake. Because this concept of doing things with a separate identity is so ingrained in Western thought, we also approach rest as an activity. Rest is the exact opposite of activity. And so, when we indulge in entertainment to rest, we're just doing more activity. This is why there's nothing that replaces sleep in terms of restfulness. No amount of binging can make you feel as restful as 7 hours of sleep. But sleep is only one form of dissolving rest. The other form is meditation.